Hello, everyone. I don't know if everyone is here, but we're gonna start right away. Um, First of all, I want to thank you for joining us to this social media training. I'm very excited to have all of you here. Uh, I still hear some. I'm gonna put a mute to everyone so we just can listen to the person that is giving the training. Um, just some information before we get started. Like in we already have been using the chat and some people have been introducing themselves. What we want to do is like, well, Angel, which I will introduce later on, while she's talking, you can have some questions probably of what she's saying and you can write it down there, or there is a hand that you can also raise, like if you want to say something right away, or if you have any question. So you can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand in right there in the also in when you see your name, and then we can go to you so you can ask any question or something that you want to say, or any comment that you want to say about her talk. So I want to introduce you to Angel, the one that is going to give us the training today. She's bachelor's in journalism from the University of Florida, and she say go Gators, and a master in communication from the University of West Florida, go Argos now. And she spent 6 years working as a newspaper reporter. During that time, she had an opportunity to use social media to engage with her audience, investigating leads for stories, and shout out to our audience when there were traffic jams, which was very easy way to get more followers. She have been with Crew since March 2014, and she was praying about leaving the newspaper business for something more mission-minded. And of the new places, she was looking for Crew, and that's where God really put in her heart to be. And it has been an amazing 2 years for her, and she's very excited to see God to continue to teach and grow her in this position that she's working. So I'm very excited to introduce you to Angel. She said that she likes mac and cheese. That's her favorite food. So that's one of my favorite food, probably because I know how to cook it well. I'm very glad to have you, Angel, to join us this morning and give us your time and your expertise to teach us how we can be more effective using social media to keep reaching others and to keep also discipling and sending them to do the same. So if you have any question, remember to chat it. You can write it down in the chat, or you just can raise your hand. So Angel, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to what we have to say. I'm so excited to virtually meet you guys and share a little bit about what we've had the chance to learn. Somewhere, I don't know where she's located for you, but this is Erin over here, and this is one of my comrades. She'll be leading a session in week 3, so I'm very grateful to have her with us too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And as I finish up each section, I'll ask if you have any questions so we can keep thinking through that without you having to forget what you were wanting to ask. So all of you read, hopefully, ahead so that we can, I'm going to share my screen. How do I, here we go. Can you see it? Okay, so today we're going to talk about how social media is weird and how we can use it for ministry. So the first thing is social media is important. One of the important things for us when we're talking to leadership is that we help them understand why we want to be on social media and why it's important for our ministry. Looking at the Latin American stats in front of you, you can see that you have an average of 140 million people on Facebook who live in Latin America. This is a place where there are so many lost people that you have the opportunity to talk to and to meet and create relationships with. People that you may never, ever have had the chance to meet, now you can because of social media. So in the article, Social Media and Christian Ministry, Reaching the World for the Kingdom of God, it's so important to note that God has used social media just as he's used other tools from the very beginning. The first technology we have noted here is that Paul used papyrus and pen to share the Bible. Then Martin Luther used the printing press. So God has used technology again and again to share his gospel message. And now it's our turn to use something brand new. We have a role in determining where the church, where the Christian organizations, where we are going to go next. And it depends on how we use social media, how we take it, and how we move forward with it. So one of the things that we're going to have to start with today at week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 is to know that social media requires a new way of thinking. This isn't going to use the same tactics as long ago. Social media is a different beast altogether. It's requiring less time and focus from the audience, so it requires more creativity, more thinking, more campaigns of us who are in ministry. But it's also a really great time for us to be creative and to give it to God in a way that we've never had to do before. Okay, so the first thing you read in the Social Media is Weird book is learning the lingo. Were there any words in your reading that were new to you or that you'd like better explained? Now's a great time to let me know that so we can go over those. Is anyone asking questions? Are they good to go? No one needed help with any of the lingo? You're all just amazing. Okay, well, if you have questions later, let me know, but we're gonna just keep on chugging along. So now that you have learned the lingo, you're ready for social media, you need to ask yourself, why are you on social media? Is it to promote a website and link to it? Is it for evangelism purposes? Is it for engagement, to talk to people? Is it to build relationships online and then offline? This is something you need to ask yourself. You need to talk with your team members and start really looking at why you exist on social media. If there are platforms where you can't answer that question, then perhaps you don't need to be on that platform, or you need to start looking at the audience and ask yourself, why are they here? Why do they want what we have to give them? And how can we make this work better and more efficiently for that particular audience? So for Cru, one of the things that's important for us before we start with a platform is talking about our brand voice. This is going to be right in front of you. You have a bunch of different options. Your character and persona. Are you friendly? Do you joke around? Are you warm? Are you professional? What's your tone? Are you really honest? Are you humble? Are you really direct? And then what is your language? Do you talk really complex? Or are you really simple? Are you whimsical? Do you tell jokes all the time? Knock, knock, who's there? And then ask yourself, what's your purpose? Is it to engage? Are you there just to entertain people? Are you there to sell them something? Amplify something? There are many options. So I'm going to give Selegna this presentation so you can read further into the details of how to create a brand voice. This is going to be important before you do anything else, because that will dictate how you create your content, the things that you want to share, everything. But we will not focus on this today because we've got other things to talk about. And if I'm going too fast, please tell me. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how Cru has done this. And this is merely an example. You do not need to copy what we have done. This is just how we have moved forward. So we have said that our voice is professional because we want people to know that we understand theology and we believe that the Bible is completely and utterly accurate, and we want them to be able to rely on Cru as a source for that type of material. We're also personal. This is a place where you can bring your troubles and your sorrows, where you can build relationship. We want to have that one-on-one relationship with our audience. We're also fun. Okay, because why else are you on social media? Fun is important. We're on campuses, we have events and conferences. We want to be fun. We want to be a place where it's not all serious and stuffy. It's a place where you can lay back and just be one with your friends and your fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. And then most important to us is we are on social media to engage. We engage with people through giving them opportunities to get involved with Cru or with other missions. We engage with answering questions that people might have, whether that's about the Holy Spirit or if it's about how do I grow in my faith. We engage with people if they're commenting on our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, if they want to email. We want to engage with people. We are open for business. We do not like to shut ourselves off. And so these are the 4 ways that we have crafted the voice of Cru, and that has made a huge difference in how we create content. So following this, I want you to ask yourself, what is your brand voice? What of those characteristics are true of you? And if they're not, do you want to shape yourself to look different? And that's okay if you're not where you want to be. But moving forward, it's important that you know your brand voice and your personality. As I said, it shapes everything that you do from here on out. Okay, so you also, hopefully, read about posting by platform. That was Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. One of the things that's so important to note is that each platform should be looked at individually. I made the mistake early on of being overwhelmed with too much work, so I would post the same graphic to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of them did subpar. Then we heard a talk, and it hit me. I need to make these individual. So when we started treating Facebook as a place for storytelling, Twitter as a place for short spurts of information, and Instagram as a place for beautiful photos, we started using those platforms for what they were designed for, and our audience liked it. We saw growth in every single platform. So now I am preaching to everyone, individualize what you're doing on social media. Again, we're going to go through just an example of how we have done it at Cru. This is not to say this is how you need to do it, but this is just how we have moved forward. So for Facebook, we gave it a mission. We said, we are on Facebook to connect people to Cru through stories. Our vision is to tell stories through experiences. If you've ever read a My Story on Cru, this is an example of that. Our audience, we looked on our Facebook Insights and we saw our 18 to 34-year-olds, 58% women and 46% men. We obviously want to cater to everyone who's on our page, but that is so helpful to know that that is our majority of people. And then we gave it a feel. How do we want our Facebook to feel? We want it to feel diverse. We don't want people to feel like they don't belong. This is for everyone. We want it to feel global. We want a professional voice, and we want to be fun and excited about the material that we're sharing with people. This isn't a stuffy Facebook page, but we want those who are exploring their faith and wanting to learn more to know that this is a trusted source, like I said earlier. Next is Instagram. I love Instagram. I hope you do too. Okay, so this is one where we have grown the most in the last 2 years. We started with 0 people and we are about to hit 6,000, and that took 2 years, which is pretty good growth for us. So we said on Instagram, our mission is to show community and the heart of Cru through beautiful pictures. So you'll see pictures of our students on campus having fun in groups. We want to see action shots. We want to see calligraphy that looks really nice, verses. Our vision is to show experiences. For Instagram, we want people who are a part of Cru to see this and enjoy it. But more than anything, we want people who are just exploring Instagram to stumble upon our Cru account and say, wow, I might want to be a part of this organization. I wonder how I can get involved. Our audience that we've said is involved Cru students on campus, Cru staff, and partners. Partners is the one we want to hit a lot of. We want them to feel like they're a part of this community. Then there's LinkedIn. For that, we said the mission is to share opportunities with Cru. So before, again, when I was overwhelmed and not sure what to do with each platform, I would post every article we put on Crew.org, and it did really poorly. No one liked it. Then we started taking LinkedIn for what it was made for, jobs. When we started putting job opportunities, people liked it and they started engaging. And people have now come to Crew through our LinkedIn page because we started using it for what it was truly for, not a place for me to dump stories. So with LinkedIn, we said the vision is to join the experience. The audience is job seekers out of college, and the feel is resourceful and knowledgeable. Pinterest. Oh, Pinterest. This is curated content targeted to a particular audience. We said that audience, based on insights, are Christian females 25 to 55. And our vision here is to inspire experiences. So Pinterest is primarily a place where you can grab things off the internet and put them on boards to save for later. So what we thought would be ideal for this audience is ideas like how to pray well, or what to do on Mother's Day, or what to do when you're not a mother on Mother's Day. Different things that our audience, the Christian female 25 to 55, would gravitate towards. Then there's Twitter. We said Twitter mission is to engage with Crew followers and share Christ-centered thinking. Our vision is to have them be in the experience at that exact time, because Twitter is all about in the moment, right then and there. Our audience, based on insights, 51% men and 49% female, so we're cut right down the middle. Our feel is lighthearted, fun, and knowledgeable. Twitter comes so quickly, in and out. If you miss the first hour of the day, you miss quite a bit of what we're posting. So we want it to be 140 characters that are simple and easy to digest. We don't want to give you a novel with every tweet that we do, because that's not the purpose of Twitter. So the biggest takeaway from this should be individualizing platforms and knowing how to post to those properly. What you read in the book was how to post in the right time. So for Facebook, you saw that primarily during non-business hours is the best time to post for your audience. And for Twitter, ironically, it's during business hours. So we want you, after this week, to take some time to figure out what's your brand voice. What do you want to communicate? And then why do you exist on each platform that you're on? If you're going to take the time to create content, and you're going to take the time to schedule and post, you want to know why you're on that platform and understand why you truly exist there. If you can't answer that question, it's okay to say maybe we don't belong here and cut that platform out. We're all very busy. We all have a lot going on. So if that platform's not making a difference in your community or in your ministry, it's something to talk to leadership about and understand if that's right for you. Okay, so the homework assignment, this went way fast. 3:17, we've got so much time to talk and discuss. The homework assignment is to create a list of goals for what you would like to accomplish through social media. Then decide who your audience is for each platform and write some ideas on how to reach that particular audience. I would love for this information to be done ahead of time, and then we can discuss it next week. So I'm going to stop sharing, and now is our time to start answering questions, asking questions, finding my mouse. I know what I'm doing, sorry. All right. So Legna, if you wanted to take the question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if anyone have a question, just like at the right corner where there is like the chat, you can raise your hand, or you can just chat right down there. What are your questions, your talk? Monique says, can you repeat the HW, please?
Can you repeat the homework? Yes, I can. Aaron's typing it up right now, but I'll read it aloud as well. Create a list of goals for what you would like to accomplish through social media. Then decide who your audience is for each platform and write some ideas on how to reach that particular audience. We also have for you, and Selegna will have the link for each of these, is a social media strategy worksheet. I'll email, this will be emailed out. So for this, you can actually assign, if you're overwhelmed, who does Twitter? Who does Facebook? Who's in charge of each one of these? What's the purpose? What's your plan? And how do you determine if it's doing well? So for Facebook, you might say, if we're getting 250 likes per month, then you're doing really well. Or if you're linking to a web article, perhaps you can say, I want 500 link clicks, then I know I'm doing well. It's best to determine what makes success in your eyes and in your leadership's eyes. So we'll send that out as well.
Can you share with us if you use Facebook, can you use it as a person or only as a page for our local movement?
When I'm talking about Facebook, it's for a page as a local movement.
Does anyone have another question or something you want Angel to repeat?
Yes, I'm so sorry if I talk too fast.
Well, the Caribbean people speak really fast, so.
Hi, Selena, this is Ron.
Hello.
I wanted to ask if we should be striving to have a similar look and feel across Slack, or if everybody can do whatever they want.
Great question. No, don't do whatever you want. Next week, we'll be talking about branding. Our brand manager, Justin Stowell, will lead that talk and share a little bit about how Crew branding works and how you can get some easy access to some of the material that we have already ready for you. So that'll be next week.
From Crew Argentina, they asked, new platforms like Snapchat, for example. I don't know what.
How to get it out of race. 100%, if you're on a local movement and you see your students are using Snapchat, then go where your students are. That should dictate how you're doing everything that you do. Can you write the ministry page link? So one thing we have on crew.org that I would love for you all to check out is our digital ministry page. Within that, we have 101s on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. We also have video tutorials. So we're putting up a video this week on how to use Snapchat. We'll also have articles on ideas for creativity within Snapchat. So the digital ministry page is one I strongly encourage you to check out, because that's where we put every new piece of training material, as well as the book, which is the reading material that we have for the rest of this training seminar. That's where the book is.
Okay, Danielle Mercano says, you mentioned using Facebook for storytelling. Can you give us an example of a typical Facebook post?
Sure. So we like to change it up a bit. We'll have graphics, and within the graphic, we can have a picture of some community event that's happening and explain what's going on with a verse that goes with it. Our biggest thing that we do on Facebook is share articles. So our last article that we posted was what happens if you have a friend who says they're no longer a Christian. And so we ask the question of our audience, and they engage with each other in that story. They also can click over to crew.org to read more about it and then find more resources to go with that article. That's been our biggest hit. The positive thing with Facebook is our articles.
Okay, Edgar, he says, brand voice is a specific form to communicate, thinking about our personality, but Crew is an organization with standard rules. How to deal with these two ideas?
Sure. So one thing that Crew is working on is personas, which tells us the idea of who we are targeting within an audience in a more generalized fashion. And within that, we came up with voice and tone of Crew, which is very similar to what I showed you on the presentation, where we're professional, we're fun, we engage, and one more that I can't remember. Personal. So this is all, the brand voice is 100% all about representing the organization. You as a person have your own voice and tone for whatever place in life you're at. When you're talking to some children, you may have a different tone. When you're talking to Selegna, you may have a different tone, but you're still the same person. So for Crew, it's very similar to that, but just as a brand. So we always are going to say that we are a theologically sound organization. And if you're working with campus students, you're also going to say we're fun. We want to have fun. That's how we get students to want to be a part of this some of the time. But we're personal, we engage. It's the list that you'll have gives you some really good ideas of defining that brand voice in some more close-knit parameters so you don't go crazy in different directions. Is that helpful? Does that answer the question? Okay, you're welcome, Edgar.
Okay, Angel, I think those are all the questions for now. Does anyone? Yep, I think those are.
This is great. Well, we actually are like speeding through things. So if we'd like, I would love to ask you some questions about the reading that you did and just kind of have some discussion with you guys, if you're up for it. Yeah? All right. All right, so first question, was there anything you read that was new to you? Any ideas or just information that was new to you?
Can we unmute for this question to engage, or do you want us to just type it?
Yeah, I'd love for people to talk if that's gonna work.
Yeah, I can. Do you guys get the part of like raising your hand so I can unmute you, so we can have only the person that is gonna talk on mute while he's talking?
And also, Sally, I think everybody can unmute themselves. So
Yes, on the bottom part, you can unmute yourself if you want to say something. Thank you, Tavo.
I was trying to figure out where I should raise my hand, but I can't, so I just unmuted myself. I have a question. For Facebook, Instagram, I think you could with Twitter, but like YouTube and stuff like that, you can upload videos and things like that. Now I know that with Crew, you mentioned that you do a lot of articles, but what's your thoughts on the use of video and social media and the most effective ways that we can be using that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jeff. Facebook actually is really wanting people to use video more. They're putting it higher up in algorithms, which means that if you put a Facebook video on your page, it has a better chance of being seen by your audience. Typically, one user will see about 300 pieces of content, and Facebook has an algorithm that determines which ones they'll see. And because they care so much about video these days, they're more likely to see the video. So I strongly encourage you to, if you have the ability to make video, to do that. Typically for us, we make 15-second videos, and people watch for about 14 seconds. So shorter is better, in my opinion.
Well, Edgar wrote that the meaning of or concept of lingo was new for him. And Arthur said the ability to schedule posts on Facebook was new for him as well.
Oh man, Arthur, I'm so excited for you. I don't know what you were doing before. That must have been very stressful. For us, we have scheduled out all the way through June right now because it's just too much to keep up with posting every single day. So scheduling is so helpful so you don't go insane. Yeah.
Angel, how you alternate the scheduling posts with maybe new and fresh events that need to be addressed, like at in the moment or right there?
Yeah, great question, Taba. So we schedule, and I think this was in what you read, we have 4 to 5 posts on Twitter, and then we do 1 to 2 posts on Facebook, and Instagram's probably 1 post, maybe 2 posts a day. With that being so, if we're scheduled ahead and we know it's coming up, if there's breaking news, we allow space for that. So when the Brussels attack happened, we paused on the content that was going to be scheduled. We just, in Facebook, you can go in and schedule it for later. And then in that moment, we just went ahead and put up the Brussels post because that was what was timely and that's what people were looking at. So it's all about being flexible as well. But if you schedule your content ahead of time, it makes it a lot easier for the breaking news to have space. The other thing to look into, I'll just keep talking about scheduling because I love it so much because it's so helpful, is Hootsuite. And Erin, being who she amazingly is, will type it up for you. Hootsuite is a place where you can schedule your tweets and Instagram if you so choose. For Twitter, the only bad part is that it sends links instead of graphics. So if you want your graphic to show up in the newsfeed, you'll need to do that in real time. And with Instagram, you'll get a notification on your phone and then you swipe it and you post in that moment. But you can store your photo and your text ahead of time. That is such a time saver for me. It's huge. So I would strongly encourage you, if you're overwhelmed with Twitter or Instagram, that might be a place to help.
I think that is probably helpful because I would imagine most of the people on this call, we don't have teams of people doing social media content for one country. It's usually a one-person show. So having that as a tool and scheduling, I think will be really helpful.
That's awesome. And one thing to note is within the digital ministry link that Erin sent, we've also gathered some ready-to-use content. So this is content we've already posted on our social media. It did fairly well. It comes with links, different 140-character tweets, things to post on Facebook, graphics. It's all the content you would need for a month. So if you're just wanting to be on social media and you're overwhelmed, that is a place that you can go and everything that you see, you can use however you would like. Other questions? We'll type that up for you, Daniel.
I think it would be cool to hear from the different people on the call what of these things they learned today they're already doing, or some of the things they've done in the past that have worked for them in their countries through different whatever social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone want to share maybe something that's working for them in their country? I'm going to call out somebody who maybe is not interested in sharing, but maybe he'll be all right. He's very extroverted. Jesus in Venezuela. Are you still on the call? Can you share about the Venezuelan National Conference and some of the strategies that you use to promote the event? Because every time I open Facebook, all I saw was what was going on in Venezuela. And so you were doing a really good job and really creative way of getting people involved. So I'd love for you to share with everybody what you did there.
Yeah. Well, national conference was awesome. But I was trying to make a deal to help the staff to promote the conference. So I just have a crazy idea about, hey, we know that we don't have a STEAM fairs or summer project in Venezuela, but I can ask some friends that I met in Solo Uno to invite our students to go to the conference. So I text some of my friends around the world, and I told them, hey, can you make a short video for me to invite our students to come to the national conference? And they were like, yes, I know. Let's do this. And I was so excited that I felt so support from my friends because it worked. Oscar, I got Oscar on the national conference for the I won the nomination of through social media. I won. And I was so excited that just a crazy idea, it worked it. It worked it. And it was awesome. That pushed me, that encouraged me to be here, to be part of something that God can do through the digital strategy. And I say, I want to be part of this. I know that more people, some people that they are not Christian, they spend a long time on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. So if they are not going to the campus, so we can go then through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we can tell them about ministry, about what Jesus is doing in the campus. So if they are not coming, we are going to them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jesus, for sharing. It's really cool. As Jeff was saying, we saw all your posts on Facebook. That was really a way to build momentum for your conference, and we're glad that you shared that with us. We have a Kwasi also wants to share something. I'm gonna unmute her. There you go.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. I've noticed that teachers work really well for us, and because our students are very relational, and I noticed that they like pictures like when we when we celebrate something, or when we post pictures of our event, that it really connects with the students here in Suriname. And I noticed that articles, they don't really read a lot of articles, especially when it has a lot of text. So for us, it's like pictures and videos. They work really well for us. One of the photos we post, last photos we posted had more than 5,000 people who were really engaged in that post. So that's what I wanted to share. And from Instagram, I've noticed that not all of the students are on Instagram. And yeah, that Facebook is now really the best social media for us to connect with students. So I also wanted to ask Erin what's her idea about posting pictures on Facebook. Hello?
Question? Is that was for me?
So I wanted to know how you guys use pictures, posting pictures on Facebook.
Okay. Well, we found that as we've asked people to create graphics for us, we've been asking people for square graphics, because then if they view it in their mobile device, it'll work for mobile and for on their computer, just the right size. We talked with photographers and designers just about what kinds of photos we like. We like to show faces, and we've been working with photographers to help get the adequate permissions. I think as you become more professional, if a whole face is shown, you need to have that person's permission in order to show that photo online. If it's just like a side of their face, you can't see the full face, then you don't need. But that helps make photos legal to share online. Let's see. Yeah, we want to show, we, as Angel said, we like to show experiences, and especially for Instagram, a beautiful quality, like think about the things that you like to see online, and what does your audience, what do they want to see through that platform? So for those of you who are not graphic designers, one resource that we've used for creating graphics is called Canva, canva.com. I'll post the link, but you can easily add text in an attractive way to, if you wanted to share a verse over a group of people praying, that's an easy way to help make that. I think it's mentioned in the book too. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have some other questions here, like on the chat that Angel and Erin have already responded, but it will be good because I think when we record, it won't be record the chat. So like if one was like, let me see, referring to Google Analytics, how should we use it? It's important. What is the experience on using it?
Me, myself, I'll read what I told Edgar. So we've used Google Analytics to track where people are coming from, so we can see if they're coming from a Google search, Facebook, etc. That's the primary way that we've used Google. But the other thing to think about when you're using it is check and see what are your most popular pages. What are the pages that people are clicking on and reading? Because those are the pages that you want to share in your social media. You already know that is important and it's popular, so share those on your social media as well. That way it can reach audience members who haven't seen it yet.
How can I link, if possible, all Facebook we have in Puerto Rico? I noticed we have one for each college.
I mentioned this in the chat, but I think because we're a kind of organization that wants to empower people to just go and do their own thing, it feels like there's always new pages and things popping up, but we like to help show people we're connected
there's a main hub for where people can find resources, and so this kind of discussion, it just takes a work to identify who's running all these pages. Can we work together? Do they want that? Where should you direct people? I know in my region of the United States, we started to ask all the local campus ministries to have, if you go to a Facebook page, it will say the page's main name, and then it will say what kind of Facebook page is it, and you can list, for my campus, it was Cru at the University of Washington, and we underneath a community of Cru, and there's a link that would go to Cru Global, that Facebook page, to show that we're part of something bigger, and ultimately directing traffic to the Cru Facebook page, which is more, we put more intentionality and time into making sure the content there really engages people, because I know that local campus ministries are probably not going to deliver the strong content as perhaps the main page would. So if you're someone who's running your country's page, it would be good to, ask people to identify all those pages and have those conversations, because I think if we're more organized, we'll get a lot more engagement. It's better to have more engagement. Like, you think about, how does something go viral? If one post can be seen by, for us, 100,000 people, that's better than 16 pages where 2 people liked it. So does that make sense?
Yep.
Great.
We have one question from Laura. What about videos on Instagram? Short and complete videos, or it is strategic to link them to another page where they appear complete?
So my best advice with this is, if you've got 15-second videos, actually, I think they've lengthened it now to 30 to 60-second videos, put them on Instagram. I think they do well. And what does super well is sharing onto Facebook from your Instagram, because those two companies are by the same owner. They work well together. The Facebook algorithms don't punish an Instagram share because they want you to share on Instagram. So those should do well. One thing that you always just need to make note of is try new things. And if it doesn't work, try something else. It's okay to fail on social media. It didn't cost you anything. It's just an opportunity to learn and grow and change it a little and try something else, because each audience is going to be a little bit different.
Okay, Sean asks, I hear you share on everything else but WhatsApp. Why is that?
This is so timely, because right before this, I had a meeting with a friend named Liz, who's Kenyan staff, and they're doing a lot of awesome things with WhatsApp in her country. We don't use it in the US, so we're looking outside of just what we're doing to help develop a training that we can give simple ideas for people to get started if they're not currently using it. Some things I heard from her today were she would use it in helping SLM staff to continue engagement with the students they were meeting. For example, she had met a girl on campus who was not ready to accept Christ, and she would send occasionally content to her. What do you think? And they would meet up and talk about what she'd seen. And then when the girl accepted Christ, she continued to do the same thing. Another thing they've done is use WhatsApp for prayer. So they have an ongoing group message with the staff. And sometimes they would agree, let's all get on at the same time and pray. As these staff members are serving in different locations, the WhatsApp enabled people to write in their prayers, and sometimes they'd have somebody facilitate, which I never heard of this before. Another thing they've encouraged people is occasionally be, due to people's networks, they would get invited to be a part of some kind of group that's not, it's not a Christian group, but it's, maybe that with their coworkers or with, people who are really into a particular interest, and they would listen, using that group, kind of like you just would in the real world, is staying a part of other groups to look for opportunities to connect with leaders, to engage people offline, not really saying anything. But yeah, just looking to their existing networks and how can they take advantage of those opportunities. And then finally, a last thing that they're using is the broadcast tool in WhatsApp, where they would think about what do people want to hear, what's relevant to them, how can they share specific content that meets what do people want to see and engage with by using the broadcast tool. So those are some ideas I heard today. I'm planning to get from her screenshots so we can make an actual training, easy steps how to, but that's on the way. It will be on the digital ministry page when it's done in June, probably. Yeah.
That's good. I think WhatsApp is very popular in our area. Like, we use WhatsApp to communicate a lot with our friends and with everyone. I don't know if anyone have some ideas also that you want to share. Maybe they can post those ideas also in the digital ministry pages.
Yeah.
Like in Panama, we use it to connect with the staff, with the volunteers. And then sometimes we share, like if we share like a video on YouTube, we send the link in WhatsApp groups like, hey, have you checked the video already? So are there other ways that you also have been using WhatsApp? Like you can share also so they can have some ideas also to put there to help, like in countries like us that use a lot of WhatsApp.
I know I met a guy when I went to Bolivia, and he uses WhatsApp for evangelism for people that he meets on campus. He's an SLM campus staff guy, and he goes on campuses, meets students, adds them to this WhatsApp group that's for evangelism purposes, and he'll send different messages that are encouraging messages and try to invite people to events so that then they could share their faith or whatnot. Then he has a separate group that he uses for people that are Christians that have accepted Christ, and he uses that for like a weekly devotional. He added me to it a few months back, and I've been getting him once a week, and he'll do Bible verse, he'll have a quick little message for your week, and he'll be, list out things that he's praying for in general. And he sends it out mostly on Mondays, and it's really cool because it's just like a Monday morning. I wake up and they're a couple hours ahead of us in Costa Rica, and I'll get this message, and it's from him, and he's doing that. And he told me recently that he's filming these devotionals now on his phone. He keeps them under a minute to 90 seconds max. And then he sends those little personal videos, messages to people as like a encouraging devotional to start the week. So I thought that was a pretty cool use of WhatsApp.
I had a question. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes? Okay. I'm part of the Trinidad digital strategy team, and we have a small group of us that are interested in the digital strategies on the social media platforms. The struggle is though that because most people are in either full-time students or engaged in employment aside from just the ministry, it's a little challenging sometimes to get the consistency in terms of putting items out there. So I just wanted to know from your experience, is it that it is better to have someone who is only occupied with putting content out there, deal with it, or is there something that, is there a process, for example, because I know you said you have a lot of media and content out there. Is it that you all recommend, you meet, you decide what you want to do, and then you just put a system in place to have it effected? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really great question. You're definitely among many people who are juggling so many things, including digital strategies, and we're so grateful for you and what you all are doing. I think that you need to look at the platforms that you're on and see if they're effective, if they're worth the time that it's taking. And then you need to see how are you engaging with people. If you're not able to engage with people on social media, then I don't think it's worth the time. You want to be able to talk to them. And then if your team is so overwhelmed, I think look for content that already exists. Facebook.com/Cru Global, that's Cru's primary page. Anything on there you can steal. Our digital ministry page has ready to use content. If it's creating things, that should be easy because we want to try and just give you everything that we have. That way you can take the time to talk to people and engage with people and listen to your audience and see what they need just from a one-to-one person. So you can start answering questions or asking them to come to an event, but you don't have to worry about finding 5 different verses that go with your theme if you can use the content that we've already created. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
We still have 4 minutes. Does anyone have any comment, any question, anything that you want to add before we end our training for today?
Yes, me, Liliana. One of the things that I learned with WhatsApp, it's a tool that helps us to connect quickly to students, like right away, because we always have the phone in our hands. So when we, for example, are going to have a meeting together, or we just have to send a message to the group. Some people doesn't respond to the group and like the whole conversation, but there's also the broadcast list. When you create a broadcast list, then you also can do a follow-up, and some people can think that it's personal because that message goes straight to the person, and it's also a way to have to begin a conversation, a spiritual conversation with other students and invite them to the group. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Vivi.
Thanks for sharing, Vivi. I have one question that I'd like us to discuss maybe in the coming weeks. I don't know if it's on your plan to do so, Angel, but what is we don't have to answer it today because I know our time's up, but one thought I had was the use of all the tools that we have with Cru for like Jesus Film Media, or what's the other, the Voke app, some of the other video ministry, spiritual conversation starters or evangelism efforts. How do you use those in social media with Cru, or how would you recommend we use those? Again, you don't have to answer it today, but it's just something to think about for next time we meet or the time after that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, that's great. We can definitely do that. And if you'd like, I can give you a quick preview of what next week will look like as well, if that is within the time frame. Is that good, Selegna?
Yes, that's good.
So next week you'll have the one and only Justin Stowell, Cru's brand manager, will be speaking to you. I believe you have the link, but I'm seeing a couple people don't. So maybe we can resend the PDF link for the book. You need to read pages 17 through 25 ahead of time. That's just our brand guidelines. We try to make it sound fun and exciting. If it didn't, I'm so sorry. And then we also have an article to read called Why Branding is Important, which is in the calendar invite. But if you don't have that for some reason, Selegna, let me know and I can resend you everything that you might need. So it's all about branding, which, again, I know it sounds like it might be boring, but it's not. It's going to be super fun. I promise. Okay.
Thank you, Angel. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. And we have recorded this session. So probably like later on, even either today or tomorrow you will get the video, so you can get some notes and watch it again, or if you want to show it also to some of the team that from your digital strategy team, that will be good, or your team in your countries. So also, like, sometimes I am sending sometimes a MailChimp from Social Media Lab. So like, check if you didn't get it on your junk mail, because there was the social media is where booklet is there. So if you haven't received anything, you can email me. I want to put my personal email here so I can send it back to you. And before we end here, I would like to pray for everyone that God will use us with all that we are learning. It's okay? Let's pray. Thank you, God, for the opportunity that you give us to learn from Angel, from all her expertise on social media, and from Erin as well, and everyone also sharing what they have learned doing this in their countries. Thank you that you are helping us to learn to be more effective on how using these tools to keep reaching people in our area, to keep engaging and have them be followers of you. So we thank you for this time, for the opportunity, and also for everyone that were able to be on time, and for the internet that was okay and everything. So we praise you, and we hope that everyone have a great day, a great rest of the day, and bless us. In the name of Jesus, amen. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. And remember to do your homework.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.